Welcome to the Living Superhuman Fitness Podcast, where we take you inside our gym, CrossFit Palm Beach, each week. It's here that we are creating new superhumans every day, transforming people's lives, helping them reach a level of health they never knew possible. We strive to answer your most burning questions on fitness, health, nutrition, training, motivation, mindset, lifestyle, and more. If you have a question, please email us at info@crossfitpalmbeach.com. You can also learn more on our blog, livingsuperhuman.com. And if you have a moment, we'd love a review from you on iTunes. All right, it's time. Let's stop being average and start living superhuman. Hey guys, welcome to the Living Superhuman Fitness Podcast. My name is Andrew Frezza, and I'm joined today by
Tony Frezza.
And Danielle Bettigrew.
Ooh, new name.
I said it.
So today's topic is, we're gonna be talking about nutrition and specifically how to eat around your workouts. And we kind of wanted to preface this is like eating around your workouts to a certain degree is kind of like more of a hack to some degree, and like there's a lot of things that you could be doing on just more of a basic level first of like eating balanced meals, eating the right quantities, like eating enough food, not too much or not too little, getting a good amount of veggies in and real foods in, hydrating properly. Like a lot of those things are more basic than eating around your workouts. So just make sure you don't put like the cart before the horse of like, I'm trying to dial in all these little hacks around my workouts when you have a lot bigger things that you can tackle first. So we're kind of working under the assumption that you have a pretty good base you're building off of for the most part, but that you really want to kind of dial in leading up to or after your workouts, okay? So where do we want to tackle first? Like what do you guys feel like are some of the most important aspects that we need to tackle and as it relates to pre and post workout nutrition?
Well, I think like you said, like this isn't like a hack, or this isn't like the most important thing that we need to focus on. This is something that kind of comes after of hitting your whole day of macros, right? So, we want you to arrive at like, do I need to eat before or after my workout based on how do you feel in your workouts? Are you feeling super sore every time you come into a workout? Do you bonk like 10 minutes into a workout, like whether it be strength or stamina? So like those are the things that we want you to come at nutrient timing from, and not just like I need another tip or hack to
right. I just saw someone drinking a shake after a workout, should I be doing the same thing, right? I think that's kind of like a lot of times when the question comes up is I just see other people doing it, should I be doing it? And they haven't really done some of the self-awareness stuff to say like, well like what are the actual things you want to correct or improve that this might help you with?
Yeah, and we see people that are, we recently did like a challenge, so we got to see people's food logs, and at the end of the day, people were chronically under eating, and especially on the protein side. And we would point to those areas around the workouts, especially post-workout, hey, this is a great place to get those nutrients in, especially protein and carbs, when your body could use it most. You're under eating throughout the day, let's get in a good meal after the workout. Mm-hmm. So that's what brought our attention to that post-workout window.
Well, so Danielle, you work with a lot of people. When you have someone who's, let's talk about the workout. They're not having their best workout consistently enough, right? Where are some of the places that you attack first?
So there's a couple different questions that I'll typically ask. One that is not nutrition related is typically sleep. If they're recovering poorly, a lot of the time it leads down to sleep. I have a lot of people who I kind of like limit nighttime phone time and stuff like that just to make sure that they're getting in enough hours. But then from there it's like, okay, what did you eat before? Okay, that seems like it checks out. Okay, what were you eating yesterday? Well, yesterday I was really busy. I was out on the boat all day and I didn't drink any water and I had 2 perfect bars and then we went out and had fried fish for dinner. I'm like, okay, there we go. There's something that doesn't check out right.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time going back, a couple of days before is going to play a huge role. One big question that I feel like I always get is, okay, I'm not working out on Sunday. Like, what do you want my numbers at on Sunday? Well, are you gonna work out on Monday? Yeah, we usually have strength on Monday, and you're gonna be there and doing our back squats or whatever we're going through that day. Like, I want you to eat the exact same. They're like, you want me to eat this many carbs and I'm not doing anything? I'm like, yes, I do. And like, to kind of go back into the science or the reason why behind that is, we're filling up our glycogen stores 24, 36 hours in advance. So thinking of ahead of time of that Monday workout, of that Tuesday workout, or even later down through the week when we are pretty depleted from the week, we need to be upping those stores and making sure that we are eating days in advance. It adds a little responsibility on us to make sure that if CrossFit is our priority and we want our performance to be good, that we need to be responsible and be eating clean, even though we are taking Saturday or Sunday off, or we do have a bunch of time to go out on the boat and be drinking and eating poorly with friends. So a lot of the time I'll kind of go backtrack just a little bit with them, and then from there, if that all checks out, then it does go to the post-workout meal, which has like way more glamour than all of the pre-meals. So a lot of the time that's something for people to put into check is pre-workout.
Yeah, we were getting questions from like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m.ers who would be like, should I wake up earlier to eat? Like, do I need to eat before my workouts? And it goes back to what Danielle was saying, was like, well, what was dinner the night before? If you feel like you really need energy in your workouts, what does dinner look like? And we could look at dinner and allow them to keep their sleep and not get up earlier and maybe up the carbs at dinner.
Yeah.
So that they could have a great workout in the morning.
Yeah, it seems to be almost like split down the middle with people that I talk to. That we can focus on AM people for now, which is like, some people are like, oh yeah, I feel great on an empty stomach. I work out pretty well. Every once in a while, a long workout, I kind of feel maybe a little depleted, and that's potentially the night before meal. But for the most part, these are people that are like, if I put anything in my stomach, I am not going to feel good. And then you have the opposite. It's like, no, I can't work out on an empty stomach. I feel like nauseous. I don't feel high energy. I need something before that workout. I'm starving when I wake up, and I can't go 90 minutes without eating something. I really want something in my stomach. And I think if you fall into either one of those categories, you just have to follow that feeling, that gut feeling, right? And then if you're somewhere in the middle, what's your recommendation to someone in the middle? They can kind of go either way with it. Should they be eating before a workout, or should they not be eating before a workout in that AM period?
I feel like there's a few different things you could look at. Duration of the workout, if you're just going and it's, a 1 hour class, chances are you're going to be okay going on an empty stomach if you're not going into it pretty hungry. But if it's something where we have, Hollyman or a 40-minute workout, Murph, or something that's super duper heavy, it might be a good idea even just to get in, half of a protein bar. I used to, years ago, before I would work out at 9 a.m. and I could not have anything in my stomach, but I would literally eat half of a protein bar just to like calm your hunger hormones essentially, and kind of let them know that you're putting stuff into your body and kind of tide yourself over till the end of the workout. But you can kind of play around with it, and see how you do feel. If you're working out for 2 or 3 hours or doing some sort of intense training, it's probably going to benefit you to put something in you or bring something to sip on while you are working out.
Yeah, every workout's different. Every person's different. Every workout's different. So your body's going to adapt to like what you do. So you said like everyone has different approaches. A lot of those people would say, and I feel great,
right,
because their body has adapted to a higher fat diet and burning fat in a workout. Maybe that works well for them. I personally was very high fat and ate like paleo, right? So I thought I do great with paleo in CrossFit. Like, I'm one of those people where it just works. And then I tried eating more carbs, and that worked better. It worked a lot better. So what I would say to those people in the middle is, you might think something works just because your body has gotten adapted to it. But if you try something different, maybe upping the carbs, maybe having a banana before your workout, just see if you have more energy, see if you have less soreness.
So let's tackle then some of the best go-tos. If we're going to have a fairly early AM person they're going to eat something and they're going to have a little something. What are some good go-tos that person can have? What are you having, Tony, before your workouts?
So every morning I have like the same shake, which is a protein shake, and it's got some carbs in it because it's got sugar in the almond milk, chocolate almond milk. And then, so if I do the shake and then I hit my workout at 5 or 6 a.m., I'm good to go. If the workout comes a little bit later, I get into some other things, maybe coaching first, I'll make sure I have like a banana or coconut water as well after that shake, you know.
Prior to the workout.
Hour before the workout. Yeah, I think a good rule of thumb is to have like 30-ish grams of protein before your workout, and then about the same or double that, up to double that in carbs before your workout.
Yeah. Do you have any good ones, Danielle, or what would you recommend for like a fairly early morning person?
Something like a fuel for fire, something that you don't really have to chew to get down, something, so like a liquid, a protein shake, something like that. Fuel for fire, like those little
What about some like
applesauce.
overnight oats?
Yeah,
like
overnight
that?
oats would be really good. Those are really easy to digest after soaking all night. So yeah, just something that your body doesn't have to work very hard to break down. So if you're chewing it, something that's going to take a while, something that's high in fiber, it's going to be sitting in your stomach as you're going through the workout and not totally readily available for you to use for energy. So something quick, something liquid-ish would be good.
Yeah. All right, now let's go over to the kind of the PM side where they've had time to kind of, you know, get some meals in and, you know, let's call it like a 5 or 6 p.m. person. What should their hours leading up to their workout look like?
I think a lot of that kind of comes down to, again, just the individual. A lot of people don't want stuff sitting in their stomach, but then there is the opposite, people who like to work out on a full stomach. So kind of the best way you could go about it would be eating a decent amount of carbs and protein in your meal leading up to your workout. So that could be 2 hours before, an hour before, whatever you prefer, but getting in some carbs and some ideally lean protein, and that would be like very low fiber, low veggie, low fat meal, whereas in the morning you could have those higher fats and stuff where we do have like a little bit of time to digest them. So
if you were to say, if you were to put like kind of an average window on time frame and quantity, like just roughly, what would you say for that for a PM person?
So probably within 120 minutes, like 2 hours before your workout is probably a pretty good window if you can get something in. I would say if you're 200 pounds and above, around 30 grams of protein, 50, 60 grams of carbs. If you're smaller than that, under 200, I mean, you really only need about 15, 20 grams of protein and 30 to 50 grams of carbs.
So more carbs than protein,
yeah.
Minimal fat, so you have those like carbs ready to use.
Right.
Cool. Cool. Anything you guys want to hit on in the pre-workout stuff besides that before we kind of move over to the post-workout side?
Well, back to what you said about people seeing other people have stuff like a post-workout shake. I see some of our members have a pre-workout shake, you know, and it's usually like bright fluorescent, like purple or red, and like it probably isn't the most natural sources that it came from.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could talk about like pre-workouts.
Yeah, let's talk about pre-workouts because that's something I get asked a lot, and honestly, I'm so far past pre-workout that when people bring it up, I forget that people actually take pre-workouts that are not coffee. Like, I think coffee, because it has a little bit of that caffeine, can help, and that's more common. And that's personally what I do some days. I don't do it every day. But like the NO explodes and the C4s and stuff like that, do they have a place in CrossFit? I just feel like they don't. I don't know.
I don't recommend them. I don't use them. I think that supplement-wise, there's very few that kind of have a good backing behind them that prove that they're actually useful. So one of those being whey protein, caffeine, I think should be a good enough stimulant for anybody to come in pre-workout. And if it's not, if you drink a lot of caffeine and you don't kind of get that buzz, then it's kind of a sign that you need to cut back just a little bit and reintroduce it later. But creatine is another really big one. That does have a lot of scientific proof backing its usage and actually does something for us. That would be one thing, but other than, you know, like all the Bang energy drinks that have all this stuff added, I think by the time you're drinking it, all those vitamins have been like so degraded and stuff that none of those things that advertise all these vitamins and nutrients and stuff really have any say. But
yeah, a lot of times what I've seen with people is it's just like overwhelming. You know, they're talking about how high their heart rate is before we've even gotten through a warm up. You know, some people kind of hit a wall in a workout or feel nauseous in a workout. And I've heard so many instances of this where it's related to a pre-workout. And I just think it's unnecessary in our environment because we already have enough of that like fight or flight in our classes, and you don't need to get like sort of more of that. You know, that's why we do really good warm-ups, is to get the heart rate up and get you going. And like you said, a little bit of caffeine can go a long way, where a lot of these things have 2 to 3 times the amount of caffeine you need, and then they have like things in there to like make you feel tingling and stuff like that, make you feel a pump or like get extra blood flow, which is not really needed, I feel like, in our sport.
Yeah, I think a good carb source is all you need, is all the energy you need. I'm one who has like dabbled in like the pre-workout mixes and stuff, and I think creatine is probably the only thing that I would still recommend on that supplement side. And then Coach Zach mentioned something in our meeting yesterday, that he takes a supplement called Carbolin, which is, you know, just made from rice and potatoes, but it's just straight carbs.
Yeah.
You know, so it is that supplement per se, but it's not all the artificial stuff. It's just carbs.
Yeah. And I think there's cleaner ones out there. I think there's like an amino energy one that's like a little bit of BCAAs, a little bit of caffeine, you know, a little bit of sweetener in there, but nothing too crazy. I think some of those are probably better things, and I probably could be wrong on the brand of that. But
yeah, well, that is a pretty good one. And the amount of like caffeine in there compared to an energy drink is like a much more normal amount, like a cup of coffee compared to 4 cups of coffee, like the energy drinks now that are out.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, let's not jump to post-workout. Let's go in workout. This is a question I have. Is this something, does it have a place, Danielle, of in workout nutrition in what we're doing in CrossFit?
I think it's like really glamorized. Like you should be sipping on protein and carbs all throughout your workout. Most people in here are working out for an hour at a time and don't really need that. If you're somebody like Zach who is training hours and hours and hours, it's probably good for you to be sipping on something that does have, you know, more carbs and protein. When you're breaking down muscles for hours on end, it's good to be, you know, putting that back into your body too. So unless you're training competitively, I don't really think it's necessary. If you're hungry, you could grab a snack real quick, but
yeah. What about like electrolytes? I mean, if you are having a longer day, maybe it's this Tuesday's workout was a 35-minute workout. Does something like that have a place in a during workout?
Well, I think that depends on their lifestyle more so than the workout. Like in here, you're in here for an hour. That hour can't do enough to you to where you're going to need hydration or need electrolytes. Like it's what you did before you came here that's going to compound with the workout. Okay, so if you did manual labor outside in the hot Florida sun for 3 hours and then came here and did an hour workout, that's 4 hours. And yes, at 4 hours, then we need electrolytes and hydration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so let's go to the post-workout window of gains, as Danielle likes to call it, 2 Z's on the end. So let's talk about some of the go-tos. What do you guys get? What do you guys take for yourselves post-workout? Let's start there.
I actually, for the most part, I prefer to eat all my carbs. So post-workout, I do a huge decaf coffee with 20 grams of protein, and then it actually just has 5 grams of carbs in it, because I immediately go home most days and will be able to cook something pretty quick. I basically eat breakfast for every meal. So my go-to is hash browns, just like shredded frozen potatoes. Throw that in a skillet with egg whites. And that's typically my go-to.
What does the macros end up looking like that for you?
Usually ends up being around 15 grams of protein and like 32 to 48 grams carbs, kind of depending on what I want to eat the rest of the day.
So now post-workout, we're kind of looking to up the carbs a little bit more, try to get about a 2 to 1 then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Carbs
2 to
to
1's
protein.
a pretty good rule. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think that brings up kind of a myth that we've heard before, is like, oh, I shouldn't have food post-workout because it doesn't get into my muscles as fast. And food totally works for you. But like maybe for like someone like Zach, where he's like got another workout an hour later, that's where he would want like a shake, so he's not like feeling full after a meal. But as far as like the shake meal debate goes, like both work. You know, you can have both, and we don't want to talk a client out of a great, healthy, balanced meal if they're like, I go home and have hash brown eggs and spinach, and it's like, keep that.
Right.
You know, we don't want to turn them on to like a chocolate shake instead of that great meal just because they think that's what we want. You know, because they see other people doing it. Personally, it's hard for me to eat right after an intense workout.
Yeah.
So I just like an easy shake with the 30 grams of protein and about 50 to 60 grams of carbs. You know, using fruit and or coconut water for those carbs.
So what's the benefit of that? You're not hungry, but you're choosing to put something in your system at that time. What are the benefits of sort of getting in some kind of substance in that window?
It's basically like when your body is the most susceptible to using those nutrients appropriately. So the reason why like a liquid or something, or why we think that protein shakes are so much better, is because when you're in here and you're working out to stress, you're breaking down all your muscle fibers, and all we want to do is repair them so that they can regrow stronger and stronger. And so when we don't have to work as hard to digest it, makes it a whole lot easier for us to immediately replenish our glycogen, which takes a few hours. And then same thing with protein, going straight to the muscle tissue and going right into that repairing phase. Whereas if we're in that catabolic state for so long, if we're not eating for 4 hours after our workout, that's a long time for our muscles to be breaking down, trying to get the energy back up, that, you know, we kind of defeat the whole purpose of working out. So even if you're not hungry, if you can stomach something like a shake, that's why I think the liquid protein shakes have really taken off, is great. But if you can get down whole food, especially like somebody like me, I don't really have the luxury of being able to eat a shake with, you know, 60 grams of protein and then still have enough carbs to eat all the things I want to eat in the day. Being able to eat a whole meal is also great. So what do you eat?
So I have a couple thoughts on it. Like, I'm not hungry like Tony, and then usually I like to just kind of go into my day and start working, and usually I kind of like in the beginning of my day I'm just distracted and forget to eat. So I have liked the shake recently over the last couple years, and I kind of think of it like a reward as well. So thinking about like the book Atomic Habits, we've talked about that before, is like if you're someone who at times maybe doesn't look forward to your workout, having a really good shake afterwards can be that extra incentive to do it. And I don't know if I'm to that point, but it does add to the experience. So I have two go-tos right now. I do Vita Coco. I grab one from the fridge, and then I will blend it with either one recipe is chocolate peanut butter ascent with a frozen banana, or I'll blend it with frozen blueberries and the lemon ascent. And both of them are awesome. They're insane. So I like both of those. One little hack that I just started doing recently with the frozen bananas, because I was getting frustrated when like 1 week we'd have like all these bananas and then they'd go bad, and then another week they'd all be green and we couldn't even buy them because they weren't ripe. So I started just buying more when they were ripe and peeling them and freezing them. So now I just have like a Ziploc bag of frozen bananas up in the office here and at my house. And whenever I want to make a shake, I have frozen bananas, and it also makes it just like so much creamier, so much more delicious.
Really that way.
Yeah, but you can't freeze it peeled, because then you can't unpeel it when it's frozen. So you have to peel it first, and then it lasts for a while. So good little life hack for you guys. You can pay me for that one.
I love that.
I don't know if you came up with that.
Well, I didn't get it from anybody else, so I thought about it in my own head.
I love the Atomic Habits shout out. He says that you'll remember an experience as more positive if it's followed by something positive afterward.
Yeah.
So you could have the worst workout in the world and you have that shake and the whole world changes and you love CrossFit again and all is good in the world.
Yeah.
Especially here, and it's so hot and you get something like so cold after. It's
Yeah.
really nice.
Some days I'll add a Fit Aid in the mix if I really need it, but I've tried to get better at it. My bill is just getting a little
That's
insane on the
secret.
Fit Aids.
If you don't have a Fit Aid, you're
Yeah.
not making any gains.
But one thing I wanted to say, because I think a lot of people are doing this, is a lot of people are grabbing a Perfect Bar as a reward after a workout. And I have nothing against Perfect Bars, especially as a meal replacement, because it's like 300 plus calories, a lot of protein, a lot of fat, a lot of carbs in them. Not the best choice post-workout. Probably one of the worst choices post-workout because it's so high in fat. So if you're gonna have a Perfect Bar, I just wouldn't have it in those first couple hours after a workout. I would save that for something later. If you're gonna grab something for the fridge, Fuel for Fire is an awesome choice, especially if you're someone like Danielle who's like, you don't have a lot of carbs and protein to give in your day because you're saving it for other meals. That's a pretty low, it's low on the macronutrient scale. It's not a ton of each. I think it's like maybe 12, 13 grams of protein, 25 grams of carbs or something like that. So it's not gonna be a huge hit to your day if you're someone who wants to eat mostly food to make up your calories and macronutrients for the day.
Yeah, also for people that are coming here, you could come here with a protein shaker of your powder, and then just grab a coconut water from the fridge and you got your post-workout shake right there. If you're on the go. Not because you need it in that like 10-minute window, you do have more time to get home and actually make something or get something, but if you are on the go, it's a good
the Magic Bullet's awesome. I mean, it's something if you work at a place that has like a kitchenette in it, you could store a Magic Bullet in there and make something. If you live nearby and you're still like getting to work 45 minutes after your workout, it doesn't have to be like right that second after. So that's something easy people can also add as a hack to it.
One thing I want to add to like the post-workout and why do I do it right after, when I'm not hungry, like does my body need it? And I think yes, because going by certain things like my sugar cravings for the rest of the day, do I hit like a 2 p.m. crash? Am I super sore the next day? Like those are all things that I've noticed get worse if I don't have a good post-workout meal.
Mm-hmm.
So just by trial and error, those are things that I figured out for myself.
I think a lot of people kind of go that way. They're like riding this high after the workout, which does suppress your appetite for a while, and then they don't eat, try and fast, essentially put it off as long as they can, and then when they do finally eat, it's like they can't catch up. They can't make up for all that time that they didn't eat, and then they just go home and are like absolutely ravenous and eat everything in sight. And like I've accidentally done it to myself here, just like getting distracted and doing other things and going to the grocery store right after, and then it's like I get home and I'm like, I feel awful. Like I have to eat everything in sight or I'm not gonna feel normal again. And so I think a lot of people do get in that situation too. So
and I think you guys have said it, but maybe not in this exact way, is just like, I think that food really helps to down-regulate your system and kind of get you out of that fight or flight mode. When we first opened the gym, first couple years, I was coaching like every single class. Tony and I would kind of cover each other to do a workout. So it's like 5 morning classes. Tony coaches at 7 a.m. so I could work out at 7, but then at 8 and 9, I'm back coaching again. And I'm doing the whole morning essentially. I would kind of not eat. I'd work out really hard, and then there'd be a gap where I just wouldn't eat. I wasn't doing shakes at the time, and I felt like at first I felt amazing doing it, because like when you're kind of type A and you get that like adrenaline rush, you can live in that fight or flight mode and feel great doing it. But then at a certain point it catches up to you, and I felt like I started to get like symptoms of adrenal fatigue. There'd be times where I'd just get moments where like my vision would start to get a little blurry or like dark, kind of like, not like fully blacking out, but just like I can't see fully clearly. And the only thing I could attribute that to was just not getting that food in my system or shake into my system to kind of down regulate everything, get myself out of that fight or flight mode temporarily. And just since adding the shakes, I don't experience that anymore. Every once in a while when I forget, I do kind of feel that way again. And it's not even like a hunger thing, it's more of just like a nauseous thing or lack of energy or tired, something like that.
Yeah, and so if you were to do that for a year straight, I mean, that's going to take a massive toll on your metabolism and your whole system. It starts to come into cognitive function and everything. So
why do you do decaf after your workout versus caffeine?
Just because I do a lot of caffeine other times. Trying to cut back just a little bit. Just because, like I had mentioned earlier, like I had experienced, rapid heart rate, but no like additional energy when I would drink caffeine. So I've cut back on decaf just a little bit, and like coming off of a workout, you feel pretty good and high energy anyways, that I'm gonna drink decaf unless I absolutely need it. So that's why I've switched.
So I think there's a lot of people that kind of understand what we're saying, but are still like afraid to eat carbs. And, from what all the research I've done, it's, you have this, the reason we're promoting them around the workout, especially in the post-workout, is because the exercise promotes insulin sensitivity, which allows you to then utilize those carbs really well, versus like someone who's insulin resistant, can't really take in a lot of carbs. It throws everything off. So, and then on top of that, I know you've talked about like taking in more simple sugars, or like maybe this is a chance to have that little bit of a treat, like hot chocolate, or I know some of our members were eating like gummy bears after workout. Like that was their time to have that like treat, because it's like that's the time that the body's going to most readily use those simple sugars, right? Can you talk about that a little bit more, and like what stuff you do for yourself with that?
Just kind of, again, it goes back to, I totally forgot what I was going to say.
That's
it
okay.
just kind of goes back to working out when your body is under all of that stress. It doesn't want to work to have to break down food. So the simpler the sugar, the easier it is just to go right into your stream, create that insulin response. Like that is what's going to replenish our muscles the quickest. And so to have that like little bit of freedom there, be a little bit more lenient maybe with food quality at that point, is kind of where you have some room to play. But have to be kind of careful with that, because a lot of the food that is less than ideal or not as clean does come with a lot of added fat too. So you have to keep that in mind, but it is kind of fun to be a little bit more flexible. I know kind of in the fitness world, a lot of people use like, we'll eat a Pop-Tart post-workout or something like that. I personally prefer hash browns, but a lot of the time I'll do like regular bread or maybe a bagel every once in a while, or something that I wouldn't normally eat. And you don't feel as guilty eating something bad after, when
There's a little more margin for error at that time.
Going for a good cause type thing.
Yeah, I just want to remind our athletes that CrossFit's a highly glycolytic sport and activity, and that means you're going to use your glycogen stores. So having carbs before the workout, fill them up, get them ready, and then they're going to be depleted. So at the end, it's your job to refill those glycogen stores and have your carbs. So we get the question like, I work out at 7 p.m. Is it okay to have carbs before bed? I heard carbs before bed are really bad, and that's not the case, because your glycogen stores are so depleted. You're going to need those carbs to recover and actually have that symbiotic relationship with protein, so that the protein can do its job to preserve your muscle mass as well going into the night, which is so important. Again, it goes back to how sore are you the next morning? Do you feel good? Like that probably goes back to your dinner post-workout.
Yeah, I think all the stuff about like late night eating is more of a habit-based nutrition hack more than it is a physiological or scientific based one. It's more about like, if we can not getting you to make bad decisions late at night, you're like, for someone who's having trouble losing weight, that's going to be a simple hack that they can do. It's not that their body can't process those things. And I think that if you're someone who's eating a reasonable amount throughout the day, like whether you're tracking or you just understand that I'm eating a reasonable amount, it doesn't matter when that's coming, if you're eating late at night or early in the morning.
Yeah, just no gummy bears before bed.
Yeah, all that sugar.
No gummy bears on your pillow.
Let's talk a little bit about types of protein a little bit, because people, if they are going to take a shake, does it matter? I know like we sell whey, we have the bone broth. Does it matter what they take pre and post workout? Are there other options that they should be considering as well?
So with that post-workout, ideally it would be either real food, a lean protein source, egg whites, chicken like tenderloin compared to a chicken thigh, something like that. Supplement-wise, a whey or a fast digesting protein is going to be probably the best. If you have like some sort of dairy intolerance, usually you can get a whey that's like hydrolyzed enough to be digestible for the most part for almost everyone, but a plant-based protein would also be fine. Casein is the other like really big protein, and that's going to be slower digesting, more of like a meal replacement type protein. So that would be good. Like I recommend that to clients to drink at night if they find that they wake up really, really hungry, or if you are a morning waker upper, that's going to keep you full, keep those like amino acids in your system just a little bit longer. So that's just really the difference between the fast acting and the slow acting. But whey, I mean, that liquid already broken down protein is probably the most ideal. Second to that is lean actual food.
Yeah. And adding to that, just what works with any digestive issues. If you don't want to take a animal-based protein, cool. There's plenty of plant options out there. If you don't want to do whey, like right now we carry 2 proteins. We carry a whey version and then bone broth, which is non-dairy.
Yeah, the whey tends to have, from what I've seen, the most research backing the muscle building component. It's like, I think it's a good go-to that if you can handle whey and you have no issues with like the animal side of it, then just like, probably want to start there. I know for me personally, I've had a better experience with the Ascent than any other whey, just in terms of like most wheys I can, after a couple times taking it, I start to like, I don't feel as good, and I've stopped taking a lot of them. So the Ascent I've been taking a while and I feel pretty good with it, and I don't really know what makes it that different, but it's been pretty good for me.
And you kind of get what you pay for too. You could go to like Walmart and buy a Walmart brand protein, and it's probably not going to be as clean as Ascent or a more expensive protein. So you can kind of read the labels and see if there's a big ingredient list or if it's very small, and kind of be able to tell if it's going to be a cleaner one or how it's going to make you feel after.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else that you guys want to touch on with this?
Got anything?
All right, cool. Well, then we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for joining us, guys.